Hello, my friends. Matt is sick. That's not nice. I was sick until last night. I had a terrible time last night. So, people have been praying for me, and at least one of you is deeply wicked because your prayers did the exact opposite. Thank you again. I was looking at some of the comments from last week. Thank you, everyone who is praying for me and for my family, for Katie and for Brian. Really, really appreciate it. We're doing Bible study today. All right, we're going to be in Second Kings chapter 11. It's going to be a great time. I'm dropping the link in the chat. Let me drop that there. We're going to be back in 5 minutes. You are very free to join us. We're going to have such a great conversation on the boy king, Joash. It's going to be a fun time. So 5 minutes, you can, even though Yoav is already here and eating. Sorry, was that just a piece of lettuce? It looked like a chunk of, what is that? Oh, it's an apple. Okay. All right. All right. You have 5 minutes to go grab an apple and join us in this conversation. All right. 5 minutes. See you soon. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Or afternoon. It's afternoon. I don't know why I said
Hello.
morning. Or Stephen, where are you? Where resideth thou? Stephen, can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
Where are you? Where do you live?
New York State.
Ah, okay. Ooh, which part of New York State?
I'm about 70 miles north of New York City.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Sorry, I was wondering how, because I'm Ontario. I visit Niagara on close enough. It's close
Ah,
enough to me. Just say that. So I wasn't sure how far away you were.
yeah, not that close.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Jan God is saying that in Greek it's Gothalia, not Athalia. Wondering what. Maybe we'll figure out why. We got a bunch of people here. Yoav, how are you doing?
I'm fine. The
Good.
holiday is over finally, so the weekend starts.
Good. Yes. Yeah, Passover is just finished. Do you do the whole eating nothing but matzah for the week? Do you actually do that?
I do.
You do. Your family does not? Is that what you're saying?
You know where I live.
No, I know you're living in a community that's like very.
In a city that is trying its best to forget the old ways.
Yeah, to try to eat as fluffy a bread as possible all
Yes.
the time. I don't know if you've ever had fluffy bread, but it's so good. It's so good. It's like cake. Um okay, we are going to get into the text. Unless does anyone have anything they want to add? State, perhaps share a
Mm.
recipe with everyone.
Yeah, you can crack the matzah to small crumbs, mix it with egg, and fry it maybe with onions.
It's good.
Quite tasty.
I told you about the dessert that I make. It's like an icebox cake. I think I shared it last year. What I do for Passover is you soak the sheets of matzah in coffee and a
Mm.
and a shot of rum. Okay, then you layer chocolate ganache, so chocolate, whipped cream, and cinnamon. So you do layers of those in between. You leave it for at least 5 hours. But if you do longer, it's even better. Okay, soaks all the way through, so it's very soft, and you put a little bit of cinnamon on top. And I call that tiramisu because it's like tiramisu, but with matzah instead of cake. It's quite good.
Yeah, I
A
think that my parents used to have it to make it
little something like that.
back in the days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. I like the icebox cakes with the matzah. Okay, we're jumping into a passage. Man, the bloodbath. The blood just keeps running. It just keeps on going.
That's perfect for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You
You
get
guys know. I mean, this is what I don't get. Why do people want to have? Why have conversations about theology um, when we could have those conversations while discussing incredibly bloody periods of history? I'm
you have a
all
very
about these things.
cinematic approach to it all.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the Bible is narrative, right? And yet, especially for Christians, most of what they study is the letters of Paul. Like let's get in some crazy narratives, shall we? Stephen, can I ask you to read this
Sure.
first paragraph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when Athaliah, the mother of Uzziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal family. But Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the king's sons who were put to death. And she put him and his nurse in a bedroom, and they hid from Athaliah, so that he was not put to death. And he remained with her 6 years, hidden in the house of the Lord, while Athaliah reigned over the land.
Okay, all of this is so interesting to me. So Athaliah, yes, So Athaliah is the daughter um, of Jezebel and Ahab. Okay, so we can see like this poetic justice that's coming forward for the house of Ahab and everything that's happening. This woman is married into the royal house, so there's some sort of a weird, like there's a link between the two kingdoms at this point, but the link is through someone who's also the daughter of Jezebel, right? So Athaliah, that she becomes the queen and is essentially, I think she's supposed to be seen as a tyrannical queen, right? That she's going about trying to destroy the royal family. Um, and so then you have the remnant, Joash, is being hidden. Um, yeah. Does this all make sense? Is this all connecting? Am I missing anything, Yoav? I feel like I was trying to understand this, and I was a little confused about some of the family.
Well, I'm missing a lot. Where does she get the political power to do all of this? It's a it's a lot that is missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And what is this bedroom that you can write people in it? I mean,
It's not just that it's a bedroom; it's that then it says, "And he remained with her 6 years, hidden in the house of Adonai." Well, Athaliah
so
reigned over the
Well,
land.
you're just David. I hate to be the tone police, but I don't think you're supposed to say that word outside of prayer context.
I'm not supposed to say Lord.
Hashem is, I think, when you're not saying it in prayer context, I think is the proper term.
Everyone knows that I'm a foolish goy just trying his best. If you are attending, please just have mercy on me. All right. um, look, it's so funny that you say that, Kirk, because I was trying my best to not say the divine name by saying Adonai, and now it's all right. I'll try to say Hashem. I'll do my best.
But if Athaliah is reigning over the land in the end, how is it that she doesn't have power? What I don't understand why you're saying that she doesn't. How does she have this power? Is that what you mean? Like, how is she reigning over the land?
it takes a lot of political power to murder all the other rivals. There was a lot of politicking going on before that.
Right.
Well, we're missing a great story here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting image. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Well, it seems to me like one of the things that we've seen is it's all well and good to be quote unquote a queen, but even a queen doesn't have her power just because she's a queen, right? Jezebel is killed not by soldiers, but by her own eunuchs, right? Her own slaves throw her out a balcony. How many do you think killed her, Yoav? Was it 2 or was it 3? But we get an image of a bunch of eunuchs are actually just a bunch of her servants throw her out of a balcony. That's how she dies, right? Like your power, you don't just get power because you're in that position. It has to be regularly given back to you by your soldiers and those under you. They have to continuously make you leader.
Yeah, there is a lot missing, right?
Yeah. And again, like this image that they're hiding in the house of Hashem, like in the house of the Lord, the image that they're hiding there, it seems to me like there may also be these fractions where we have Baal worship everywhere. We have like mixed forms of worship. So the safety of Joash is that he's hidden in Hashem's house. So
No one's going there.
Well, he's going to be a figure that brings people back to worshiping the Lord. So it makes a lot of sense that he's going to be this figure because he's essentially like raised by the priesthood, right? He's like going to be hidden by those people. Oh, I love this. Yanni, that's a beautiful, beautiful comparison. Silly question. Is the house of the Lord the temple? Does that make Joash a Quasimodo sort? I think the answer is yes. I do think, well, maybe Yoav can correct us, but it does seem to me that this house of Hashem is in fact the temple.
Well, how can I correct you when there's so little information? Where will I fetch any contradicting information from?
Well, it's because it is in Jerusalem. He is going to be the Judite, the king in Judah, not the Sumerian, right?
So I guess, but where do you hide there? I mean, it's the first temple wasn't so big.
I'm sure you still have quarters for priests, though.
Okay, so it's not in actual temple. It's sort of in the temple complex.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And and what is this bedroom that you hide people inside? I mean, hiding under the bed. I mean, not clear.
Yeah, and his nurse in a bedroom too. That's interesting too. Either way, we have this.
How old is he at this point?
He's 1 because he's going to be 7. You have to piece that together from the entirety of it because she's hidden away for 7, and it's after this that he's made king. And he's 7 when he's made king. He's been hidden away for 6. He still has a nurse, so we get this image that he's only 1 year old when the massacre is happening. And I'm also getting what's it called? Moses images that she's kind of like Pharaoh killing the offspring, and he's hidden away, right? Him and his nurse are hidden away to stop this from happening. Yeah. Athaliah is trying to get revenge for what has happened to them by blotting out the other royal line, and one has gotten away. Kirk.
Okay.
Kirk, you wouldn't happen to want to read, would you?
Yeah, I want to read. But in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and brought the captains of the Karites and of the guards, and had them come to him in the house of the Lord. And he made a covenant with them, and put them under oath in the house of the Lord. And he showed them the king's son. He commanded them, "This is the thing that you shall do 1/3 of you. Those who come off duty on the Sabbath and guard the king's house, another third being at the gate, sore, and a third at the gate behind the guards, shall guard the palace. And the 2 divisions of you which come on duty to enforce on the Sabbath and guard the house of the Lord on behalf of the king shall surround the king, each with his weapons in his hand, and whoever approaches the ranks is to be put to death. Be with the king when he goes out and when he comes in."
Okay, let's pause 1 second. Does this make things more clear for you, Yoav? How they're maintained? No.
The Hebrew is incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible, he says.
Yeah.
Which parts?
Okay. Okay. We have the commanders of the 100, and then carry, word that I don't understand, and the runners. So what is carry, except in culinary context? And then the gate sur. What is the gate sur? Again, a word that I don't recognize. And then to keep the guard over the heart, masach. What is masach? I do not know. I mean, there are three words that I just never encountered before. And so it's all sort of about the way that the guard is being arranged in Jerusalem, but the language is completely lost.
Is the Karaites the same as elsewhere spelled with a K? Are these the descendants of Jethro?
Ah,
Yeah, I was wondering why it's with a C and not with a K.
there was a reference to the Kreti and Pleti in David's time. So there was the Kreti and Pleti in David's time. So maybe this is a role in the army that will emerge from in later generation from that. No, sorry, I cannot help you much because well, he was doing some arrangement of the guards, but more than that, it beats me. Need Joseph in here.
Either way, we have a military unit that is constantly defending him to make sure that he's safe within that context. That's why I think this is what this guy is getting at. I don't know who this is. Does House of the Lord here in this section of 11 to Baal? I will give you 3 guesses, and the first two don't count. So I think that this is the temple to Hashem and not to Baal, because of the way that Joash, once he grows up, he clearly will have an affinity to Hashem and against Baal. And he will.
Why the Baal? There is no way it refers to the Baal. I mean, nothing in the text. No, it's quite definitely the Jewish temple and not and not the house of the Baal. That is definite.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we're gonna continue on. Stephen, read for us this next section.
Okay. The captains did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded. Wait, can I stop a second?
Yeah.
So these are divisions that are working for the priests, are guarding for the priests. This isn't the same guard that's guarding the king.
Well, it is the army. So many questions because of exactly what Yoav is saying. It seems like there's a division between the royal house and the priestly house, and he's brought in with the priests to be taken care of as like a hidden. I'm sure Yoav, because you've had theories about like Solomon being hidden away and all these other things. This idea that they say no, that child was actually preserved. He never dies. He's raised with the priests, and so he's the first king in a long time who takes the priestly role seriously, right? Like, so there would be it seems to me a different set of guards for the priests than the kings.
And if the Karaites are the K Karaites, then coming from outside of Jerusalem would make sense. They're guarding, and all this gate talk is because they're not coming from the inside; they're coming from the outside somehow. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. It's just it seems like there's two different wars two different guards working for two different.
Right, and if that's the case, because last week we were talking about the same thing where there's a character who's a Karaite who's making things happen. Yoav even said that he might be the real brain behind everything, that he may have been the organizer of some of the stuff. where these characters that are in between figures, you could get some bizarre alliances because you don't like what place do they play?
No. Last chapter wasn't it a Kenite?
Oh, that's right. They're Kenites, not
No. There's no relationship. There's the Karites and the Kenites. They're not the same
Oh,
thing.
okay.
okay.
All right.
Thank you for correcting us.
So I take away that. Let me read. The captains did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and they each brought his men who were to go off duty on the Sabbath, with those who were to come on duty on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And the priest gave to the captains the spears and shields that had been King David's, which were in the house of the Lord. And the guards stood, every man with his weapons at his hand, from the south side of the house to the north side of the house, around the altar and the house on behalf of the king. Then he brought out the king's son and put the crown on him and gave him the testimony. And they proclaimed him king and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, "Long live the king."
I love it. Long live the king. The first time I
So
read
that's
this,
where
I
that
was
comes
like,
from.
yeah, the first time I read this, I was like, oh, that's where that comes from. Okay, cool. Yeah. Long live the
We
king.
cleared that up.
Something you especially have to say when kings are being cut down early in their lives.
The testimony is an object. He put on him the crown and he put on him the testimony. It's a something. I don't know what it is.
Any theory? What's the word in Hebrew?
Edut, as in ed.
Why wouldn't it be a piece of Torah or something?
Could be.
It holds. Well, there's an idea. Oh man. Okay, so in Deuteronomy, the king is supposed to make his own copy of the book of the law, and he's supposed to study it every single day to show that he's like the good and proper king. And sometimes the law is referred to as the book of the testimony.
Yeah, it could be a copy of the Bible.
Yeah, that he carries that with him. Because that's what makes him king is these. Yeah, you have the authority being put on him. Yeah, very interesting. It's also interesting because Yoav, I think we talked about this probably like a year ago at this point. The idea that they made weapons that were just like stored in the temple.
Yeah.
Like where they had what did they have there? They had like some of these things were even made out of gold, which, in case you were wondering, is easy to make a sword out of, but not a good sword. Because if you had the image that everyone knows of someone checking if something is gold is by biting it, right? Like you get a bag of gold, someone takes out a coin and they bite it in like an old movie. The reason why is because gold is soft. If you bite gold, it has it bends a little bit, right? So it would actually make a bad weapon, but it's still a weapon, right? So there's shields and things. I'm not sure that they're gold. Yeah, maybe they're just covered in gold.
Yeah, but they didn't fight anybody. It could be just a ceremonial.
Well,
weapons.
the hilt would be gold, right? That was the idea.
No,
the blade
it could be just ceremonial, just with the decoration, just for.
I think they were under that bed.
I just love the image. Like, I don't know. I love an image of the golden swords and the golden shields. Like, they look so cool. I understand, even if it makes a bad sword, why you'd make one. It looks so boss. So either way, these guys show up with this, and they crown him. They put the testimony, which I like to think is the actual, the book of the testimony. So that he's fully king in a way that we've not seen. I hope that that's what it is, because we haven't seen evidence that any of the kings are actually making copies of Torah, right? That aspect where they study and make the copy. This might be the only reference to it of a king actually doing that part. It's beautiful. Yeah, Don, I think this is right. Is the whole point of the episode to restore the house of David proper after all the idol worship of Ahab and Jezebel? It's important to remember Ahab and Jezebel are not part of the house of David. They're like, or the house of Judah, depending on how you want to say it. They are from their Samaria, right? The house of Samaria. But the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel marries into the house of David. So we got to get like that. That's part of this is we're getting rid of that aspect into the house of David. It does. David also has to be purified, not just Israel. David too has been polluted by idolatry. Okay, Kirk, would you read for us?
When Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she went into the house of the Lord to the people. And when she looked, there was a king standing by the pillar, according to the custom, and the captains and the trumpeters beside the king, and all the people of the land rejoicing among trumpets. And Athaliah tore her clothes and cried, Treason! Treason! Then Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains who were sent over the army, Bring her out between the ranks and put to death with the sword anyone who follows her. So the priest said, Let her not be put to death in the house of the Lord. So they laid hands on her, and she went through the horse's entrance to the king's house, and she was put to death.
Thank you. This is so much fun. I like that they won't kill her inside the house of the Lord, so they take her to where the horses enter. Like, again, we just think of that as like a parking garage or something like this. Horses crap, right? So you're taking her to this place where the animals are coming in and out. That's the place where she's going to be killed, not in God's house. She's going to be kill her at the horse gate, right? That's like a brutal image to me. Carrying with, for me, the image of Jezebel, right, where the dogs eat her. This girl is going to be killed where the horses are coming in and out.
David, you're definitely going to have to be the cinematographer of this movie.
That's what I mean, man. Like you gotta picture. One of the reasons why people don't have fun with this is that they don't actually picture it. It's like instead you have her put to death on like piles of dung. It's great, right? And even I love treason, right? Like shouting it as they're making this guy king. Does she think this is gonna go well? Oh, thank you, Yanni. Conspiracy. That's exactly right. That's what's happening.
I guess priests can order capital punishment. Is that it?
If you have the army with you, you can.
You can do whatever you want if you have the army with you. Oh, interesting difference in spelling. Okay. But it's the blowing of it. It seems that when they make him king, they are preparing for some sort of a public spectacle, because the blowing of the trumpets, this seems like it's going to be a big thing, right? Like you're making a pretty loud sound. I saw something which was people have tried to figure out how quiet the ancient world would have been. That when you just have people in certain areas, how, like without quote unquote noise pollution, just how quiet an area of a city was. So the blowing of trumpets, how far that sound would actually go, would be something we don't understand. We really just have
trumpets and not shofar.
I mean, that's what a shofar is, right? The shofar is a trumpet. Yeah,
but is that the word? Can we have Yoav clarification?
No, it's a different. It's a special. It's also special ceremonial equipment.
Aren't they made out of? I think the shofars are made out of silver, aren't they? At the temple, where am I getting that idea from?
The trumpets can be made in silver, but not the shofar. Shofar is always horn.
Always an actual animal's horn.
But these are definitely trumpets.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
where you're
shofars
gonna
have to
get.
be created by God, right? So it's got to be an animal.
Well, so it's from a shofar is a horn that is of a clean animal and not a cow, even though a cow is clean, right? There's a shofar, right?
But it's not manufactured, is my point.
You still have to you still have to do things in order for it to be made a shofar. But in making it, why not a cow is said to be because of the golden calf fiasco. Like no connection to that whatsoever. But yeah, so from natural material, I get what you mean though. But the trumpets, yeah, you make these things out of silver, which would also make them resonate. Like the noise that you can get. I've heard a shofar that was antelope horn, so it's much bigger, right? It's like whatever, it's like 3 feet long. The shofar that's made out of, and those you can get some real sound out of because of how big they are. But for something that's silver, you could probably get like a real blast out of. Anyway, this huge noise, and then they get him. I don't understand this, but it's an interesting image. According to the custom, the king is standing by the pillar. So I don't know what that means, but apparently there's some sort of a pillar where it's customary for the king to stand. And I don't know where this is. I like the trying to figure out.
Well, we're still in the temple.
Mhm.
And the temple had 2 pillars in the front of it, Yachin and Boaz. But I don't know of any relations of any of them to the ceremony of
Kingship.
the kingship. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. And also because it has become clear through this that we're talking about the temple complex, which includes these other things, including like an armory and everything else. That's why I'm like, what is this pillar? Is it the pillar of the temple proper? Is it part of this complex? Because if you look at like the temple, what they think the temple complex looked like, you got pillars everywhere. It's not just at the door, right? So I don't know. Either way, don't put her to death here. Take her outside. You let her die with the horse shit. That's where she's going. Any other thoughts before we move on?
I don't know what the horses were doing there. I mean, you don't bring horses to either to the temple or the king house.
I've been thinking about it though. The amount of material that would be brought in regularly to the temple, the amount of firewood, the amount of animals, the things that were transported in and out, the food for the priests. How are like
You don't use horses for that. That's for sure. Horses are only used for military purposes.
okay. That's the point that you're making.
No, I mean,
That's the point the text
as you
is
said, they make a mess. So
Yeah, so again, I'm asking questions about this larger temple complex. Like,
yeah,
is it almost like its own miniature little city? And you have horses, you have a guard, you have horses, you have all this, you have weapons, you have barracks, you have housing for priests. Is that what we're talking about?
doesn't make sense to me. There was not enough space on top of the mountain for all of this.
Yeah, but it seems like people like Ethan are really happy that things aren't making sense. Like seriously, Ethan, try to picture it day to day in its operation. Right? You don't picture it with people, you don't picture it like even the altars, if you find an image of the altar, they don't have animals being butchered and their bodies being there, right? Like Yoav no, Yosef, I think maybe it was a couple times ago, was talking about, or maybe it was in a different context, was telling me about piles of ash from the altar, because there would be remnants after you burn these things. It's not clean, right? You never picture people bringing firewood. Some guy, it's his job just to be parting wood in the temple complex and bringing wood in. You know what I mean? You don't picture just like dudes with like, you picture holy men holding their hands up praying. You don't picture a butcher knowing which parts to break down, how to break down an altar, an animal to bring it to the altar. You don't picture a guy who's really good with firewood, knowing how to split pieces, and that's his job.
Okay, a bit of geography. South of the temple, underneath where now there is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, there are rooms that are called the stables of Solomon.
Okay.
There were not the stables of Solomon. Didn't exist at the time, physically. But I think people were reading this text and assuming that there was a place somewhere around the temple where the horses were stored, and they were making the guess that it was south of it, but it doesn't make sense. I think but that might be some source for that name of the stables of Solomon to that area.
Interesting.
Maybe the horse being a military reference is on purpose here, to have her be like being killed like an invader, like an invader, and not someone that belongs there, or not someone from there, someone from the outside. She's given a person from the outside's death like an invader's death. I'm just saying because of the horse reference and the horses being militaristic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't anyway. It's a mountain. It's not house country. You want your horses down in the valley.
Right. I like what Ethan is saying, and honestly, Ethan, I just don't have time to get into it today, because this is interesting as an image, and I know that other people on this channel disagree with me as Eden as a garden temple complex. Other people disagree with me. So I'm not going to get into all of it right now. Instead, we're just going to move on. How about that? Okay, so she's put to death in the horse gate. Stephen, would you read for us, please?
Sure. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, and also between the king and the people. Then all the people of the land went to the house of Baal and tore it down. His altars and his images they broke in pieces, and they killed Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altar. And the priest posted watchmen over the house of the Lord. And he took the captains, the Karaites, the guard, and all the people of the land, and they brought the king down from the house of the Lord, marching through the gate of the guards to the king's house. And he took a seat on the throne of kings. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah had been put to death with the sword at the king's house.
And now it's the king's house. So interesting already.
Okay, so what I get of it, the whole complex had two gates. One for runners, if you want to send messages for runners, and the other for horses. And the reference there was not guards, but runners. So it's not the gate of the guards; it's the gate of the runners. So it's there's a wider gate and a narrow gate.
The other part to this that I find interesting is it seems to be redoing, even though this was already done in Samaria. It's the battle between Hashem and Baal. right? Where they're fighting each other. And it's again the temple and house of Baal falling. Oh, hi. So sorry, I'm highlighting this because Luke, me, Sam, and Jess were talking about the Trinity again. That will be dropping on Luke's channel soon. So take a look. It'll be coming out soon. I don't know when, but soon.
Is this like the 60th installment of this argument, or how long is it? How long is it?
For me and Sam have only talked. This is the second time Sam and I have talked. It's not going to be live streamed, but it'll be dropped at some point. Yeah, for him, he's saying 67th. Awesome. Yeah, so we see as part of this king's reign the destruction of the house of Baal, and even this language of house of Hashem and house of Baal, it's putting them as two separate houses, almost like simultaneous, like purposely using the same language to describe both, to show the direction that this collapse has taken. Yeah, putting them as foes against each other. And our final verse, I will read. How about that? I'm sorry, Kirk. I get to read one. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign. So he's a 7-year-old kid. So I don't know if you've ever heard this, if you've ever heard this joke, is that there's no such thing as a vegan cat. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard that.
Why isn't there? But there are cats that eat a vegan diet. So Kirk, how is there vegan cats then?
I never understood that expression.
It's you get a vegan cat. This is like an argument that you'll hear about trans kids. Actually, that's where if you're conservative, you may have heard this comparison used. Is there's no such thing as a vegan cat.
Well, that's a biological fact. Cats are committed carnivores.
Yeah, but you have animals that are essentially tortured by vegans into becoming vegans. So you could have an owner that makes them this. So
there's no such thing as a 7-year-old king.
Yeah, there's a 7-year-old. Like if you meet a 7-year-old, I met a kid once who wanted to become an engineer. What does this mean? Not that this 7-year-old kid wanted to be an engineer. It means that this kid was Korean and his parents said, "You're going to be an engineer one day." That's what he was told. Hi, Claire. Claire, I have missed you. I don't know why you haven't joined us for Bible study again. It's good fun. So you should, yeah. But so Joash, I have questions about him as king because he is seen as a really good king, but a 7-year-old doesn't make these choices on his own.
Does any king?
No one make. Well, yeah. So this becomes, but it's especially prevalent in the life of Joash, where the system and the structure creates the good system and not the king on his own. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's a way of thinking about it. Is in the same way.
That's Jethro's point. Right? That's Jethro's point with Moses.
Claire, you are welcome. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming out again. So, like, we've talked about this to some extent. To what extent our culture creates the environment for someone to be good, for someone to seek God, for the good to occur, right? Powers, principalities, the system does it make you better or worse? To me, Joash, as this character, as this king who's raised by the priesthood, that's why he's a good king.
Um, yeah, I mean the thing is a lot of are you basically implying that the morality is inculcated by the culture?
It always is.
Well, yeah, and this is I mean this is I mean I think this is obvious. I think you'd be a fool to deny it.
Right.
Well, it's a bit of both, isn't it? That there is the nurture nature argument. Are you going to go be good or bad according to your parentage and your genes, or
Mhm.
or is a good environment enough to rescue you from your, inheritance, your
Right.
genetic inheritance?
And when things go wrong, I've had this conversation with my dad, as my dad has turned back to religion, and we have conversations about, he at certain points would be frustrated with myself or my siblings, and I would say to my dad, there's nature and nurture, and which part aren't you responsible for? Right, is what I would say to my dad, because he would kind of say, "What happened to you guys?" I'd say, "Okay, you answer that question. Like, do you think it's because of how we're related to you biologically, or because of how you raised us? Which thing do you think is the problem, and which problem is not your fault?" Right? It's like a
Yeah.
question to ask a father.
Yes, I suppose he could get you to blame your other parent if anything went wrong with you.
Which is, by the way, it's like such a common joke, right? Is the mother walking in and saying, "You won't believe what your son did."
Yes.
Your son, right? And in Exodus, there's a conversation between God and Moses where the people have been disobedient, and God says to Moses, "Do you know what your people have done?" And Moses says, "Will you wipe out your people?" So the Lord and Moses are having an argument where they both refer, saying, "It's not my son, it's your son." Right? It's the same language. It's not my fault, it's your fault.
Yeah, how much is someone's morality formed by the time they're 7? Because Yehoash,
Yeah.
right? He grew up in the temple, so you would think that whatever the morality of the temple is, or the temple complex, or whatever
That's right.
we're saying here, yeah, I would think by 7 years old, you've probably got a pretty good basics of whoever it is that's been training you.
Right. But it is deeply influenced. It's again not this independent human being who just happens to be a good person who makes good decisions. It's
Yeah.
in the same way, like, what hope did the daughter of Jezebel and Ahab have at being a good, upstanding citizen? She had some chance, but there's a real problem there. And so even this idea, the circumstance that creates the good king, that creates the good person, is actually that he's fleeing from the actual royal house.
Yeah.
That's part of how he becomes good.
Right.
He
It's
becomes
like an
good because
Abraham
he's
story.
raised by the priests.
Yeah, it's the Abraham story. And Abraham, of course, is sort of the biblical self-made man, right? And he begins by running away.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get him sent away.
Or
And not
running
just
towards.
that, that's why he has the time to be the good king who has the copy of the law. Because he actually has the time because he's been raised by the priests, not by the royal household. He's raised by the priests.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say.
Of course you do.
First, I don't remember us ever reading the previous chapter. Maybe we read it too quickly, but I just have no recollection of it. And
It's because the previous chapter is just a massacre. It's just it's the heads in piles. That was last week.
No. There was another one in between.
Did we skip a chapter?
Did I skip a chapter?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we're going to have to do it.
And what is happening there is that Aram is getting strong and cutting into Israel.
Oh,
It's a very short chapter. What I think was happening is you get a lot of Baal worshipping refugees flowing from the north to the south. First, because of the raids of the Aramites, and second, because of the Jewish revolution, overthrowing the Baal and establishing Jewish tradition in the north. And those refugees coming into the south tend to be Baal worshippers.
mm-hmm.
And I think they are seeking somebody who they can trust to be their leader in the south. And Atalia is well placed because she has connection with probably a Baal worshipper and with connection to the Northern Kingdom. So it is on this wave of refugees that she gains power, probably by conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And since they are sort of globalist and pluralist and polytheistic, then don't go destroying the temple. They said, let 1,000 flowers bloom. So they have their own temple where they worship the Baal, and they let the Jews worship their own gods in the other temple. And this is why they never visit the temple, and this is why they never notice there is a young king there.
Right. That's your business, guys. Yeah.
Over several years, they get assimilated, and they are getting converted back into Judaism. And when the time is right and the army is of the right religion, then the counter-revolution happens.
So I'm embarrassed because we did in fact skip a chapter. That definitely did in fact happen.
Since we have some free time, can I give my thoughts on this thing?
I mean, you can even when we don't have time, you can give your thoughts.
So I was also thinking that okay, so I'm not just a reader. Good. Okay. So I was thinking, like, do you think that this reflects on the culture at the time of like in comparison to the way pagan culture treated or raised kids?
So there
Does
is
that make sense?
you have multiple dogs going nuts in the background, Kirk. Multiple dogs. What I would say,
I'm sorry.
what I would say is, yeah, it definitely is. We're getting a presentation from the biblical worldview as to how you make a good king, a good leader, and a good person. And there isn't an idea of the individual who is good, right? Even in the example of Abraham, I think, for instance, Abraham thinks it's okay to sacrifice, that God could ask for him to sacrifice his son, because we know that people sacrifice children, right? So it would not have been within the culture he was existing in unheard of for God to ask for such a thing. So
take that, Ayn Rand.
But so if you're existing within a culture where these things are acceptable, even the image in the New Testament, just so you know, the image that Christ gives of the kingdom of God is he speaks of it as leaven being put into dough, right? You put a little bit of yeast into a lump of dough, but you have to give it time to work through the dough. You don't just add it and then it's miraculously filled with bubbles, right? Instead, you leave it and then it's alive and it's working and it spreads throughout it. In the same way, the kingdom, and I would say that this is true within Judaism as well, there's a different law that exists when you're in exile versus when you're in the land. When you're actually creating, and I mean, for Claire, who's here as well, there's a different concept of how of how Muslims live when there's actually Sharia law versus when you're living in someone else's country, right? Like there's an ideal of the ideal for God's people is actually in an environment that feeds itself,
Yeah.
right?
So like the observer effect in quantum mechanics, right, where the observation changes the behavior.
Right, where you include the parents in the child, right? The hero in modern literature is an orphan, right? Your Spider-Mans, your Clark Kents, your Harry Potters. It's just repeatedly these people are without parents because our image of the hero is the individual, not the person operating within a larger system.
Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the problems with this sort of Ayn Rand type individualist type thing.
Individualism, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, we have an image of the good king. The good king has a good upbringing. He doesn't just become a good king, right? Like there's a line from, I don't know if you guys watched Firefly. It was a series, and then it culminated in a movie called Serenity. And there's like a guy who is the agent of the evil government, and he's kind of making he's helping them get to utopia. And someone says to him, "Oh, so this is your plan? You're going to live in this perfect world?" And he says, "No, I'm not going to live there. I'm a monster. They'll have no place for me." Right? He's making this thing possible, but he's not. He doesn't belong there as a result, right? And so you could even see the messianic figure in Judaism is not David; it's the son of David, right? It's because David is a man of blood, right? You get to peacetime because you had like a horrible barbaric leader before who still had good intentions, right? But is like a brute. I don't know.
Yeah, I also had some personal questions for Yoav and Stephen, but I think you don't like personal questions. But also, happy Passover in the States, because isn't today still the last day of Passover?
It just finished.
I thought this was the last day in America. Yom Tov Sheni, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
The
They
second
have
day.
a second day outside Israel,
Oh, that's right. They do 8.
Yeah.
but it's also the holiday in Israel in celebration of Maimonides.
Oh, well, happy Maimonides Day.
Okay.
Question
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
young God: is the word vulgar? Is it coming from the word peasant, or does it mean something barbaric?
Let's see if he responds.
Yeah.
You play the Jeopardy music.
Claire, did you want to give any of your opinion that you were expressing here? When I was talking before about Muslim law and how that exists as well. Claire, we don't hear you if you are talking right now.
Oh, yes, yes. I was a bit slow on unmuting myself. Sorry
No, that's
about
all right.
that.
That's all right.
I know it sounds a bit alarming about, global takeover, but we've heard it from communists, right? Communists also wanted global communism, world communism, and I think liberal democracy is already global. So and we've already had 3 global empires: the Spanish, the British, and the American. So maybe it's not as alarming as it sounds. And I guess any idea worth its salt predictably has ideas of global domination. So and maybe.
That's interesting too, because there's been some conversations with people as well saying it doesn't matter. PVK talks about this. Like, even if you're living in North America, it doesn't matter if you're Catholic, you're still a Protestant. Like, you think like a Protestant. You you have these influences. And what you're saying about the larger world, I think everyone who's over here is has been influenced by that. You are a children of this society. Not even if you think that you're in a little separate one, you are porous and you're absorbing all this other stuff.
Okay,
Yes,
the
yes,
thread
because
about
we're all marinating in
Yeah.
the culture. And
No. Keep going. That's why we want a better culture. We not just better individuals. We want a better culture because everyone's absorbing it.
yes, yes, and I think culture is a product of law and morality. And I think perhaps Americans should consider a bit more the fact that they do not have an official moral system. I know this is something I go on about ad nauseum, but if Americans do not have a moral system, then it means that the rest of the West doesn't have a moral system. And if we don't care about these things, it means we really have no rules. And the people only claiming to be Christian do not, in fact, represent Christian values, whatever they are. But particularly if we have difficulty discussing what Christian values are or Christian principles, and what it is to be a Christian, and I think a lot of people prefer to park it and not talk about it because it's so controversial.
Yeah.
But I think it's important.
I agree, Claire. I have to get going actually, but I agree that we here in the West have the moral fortitude of a wet paper bag, and we are just waiting for something to rip through the sides. Yeah, and so it is not enough to be creating a good individual, or even just trying to be a good individual, but being someone who creates a good culture.
Well, I mean, individually, we are helpless, but if we could just understand what the problem is, in theory, we might, be taking the first step towards the solution. But if we never even discuss it, and I find a lot of people just, they see the enormity of the problem and think, well, what's my opinion going to do? It would be just a drop in the ocean.
To me, I think you got to balance the two, Claire, because I think you said, the individual is helpless. And I don't think that. I think we have to balance the two. So the conservative says that it's all the individual, and the liberal says it's all the systems. And I think can only judge systems, can't judge individuals. The other can only judge individuals. There is no, there's no such thing as systemic racism, et cetera, et cetera. But instead, the person who's actually going to move things forward has to be someone that operates in both, that understands both individually what they can do and where that stops. Because I've seen people from terrible backgrounds make really good decisions. They're still affected by the horrible background, but still able to make good decisions from within that. And some of us are creating systems all the time, right?
Yeah, although the only thing I'll say to that is I don't think that conservatives are necessarily individualists, and I don't think liberals are necessarily collectivists, because social conservatives tend to be pretty traditional and cultural and not just individualist. And similarly, liberals also, there is a social liberal streak of individualism. So I think it's more complicated than that.
I think the solution must be to decide which group you want to belong to, and whether there is a reliable way of working it out. Because I think understandably we're all in a way stuck with the religion of mum and dad, because we know the social and familial consequences of rejecting the religion of mum and dad, and that I think then it becomes a birth rate problem, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And at some point, you also have to admit, which has been part of my story, like when I first became a Christian, I pushed against my parents a lot. And I was like, I'm doing something completely different. And then as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized I am their child, and I need to own that part of myself, to fully understand what that is. Okay, guys, this was a good conversation, even though it was a week early. Next week, I'm almost certainly not going to be able to do Bible study. I have to. I don't want to talk about it. I have to appear somewhere. I have official business, which makes it so that I won't be able to attend to be leading this next week. So please don't turn to hedonism in my absence.
No,
Please.
we have homework to read that missing chapter.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So I'll decide what to do. Maybe we will read that missing chapter. Maybe that's your homework. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Shady dealings in a week. No, it's not shady. I just
Next
don't want to
Bible
get into
study
it.
from jail cell. You know, I think Cassandra's wrong. I think Yoav is just beginning with us. He's not finishing with us. He's just beginning with us.
I don't understand this.
What?
Okay. Well, friends, goodbye. We're closing down today, all right?
Yeah.
Have a good one. Claire, thank you for coming out. Again, you're always invited. Kirk,
Thank
you did
you.
some great reading despite the dogs and yelling. Yoav, thank you for your recipes. Stephen, thank you for letting me know that you're not that far away. You're. I'll throw you a letter. You might
All
receive it. Yeah. Okay.
And good luck with your thing next week that makes you
Yeah.
unable to help Bible study.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's not my favorite. So
Are you going to swear on the Bible in that event?
okay, you push me, so I will. Someone else that I know is going to be sentenced for something, and I'm being brought in as a character witness for to help assist in what the proper sentencing would be. So I will be, but not I'm not defending myself. Yeah.
May
right.
justice be done.
Yes. May both justice and mercy be satisfied. Somehow. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'll see you possibly in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Thank you, David.